You're live.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Emer and it's Saturday in West Hollywood, and I feel very lucky to have my travel patients here to do just some facial shaping, just overall enhancement of facial contours, making somebody look more rested and feel good about themselves. We're going to use a little bit of filler to just enhance certain facial features. And a lot of women, what they notice is they start to age, that this area starts to come down, and there's usually a little crease that develops under the eye, making the folds more noticeable, making the crease under the eye more noticeable, making the lip corner a little bit more noticeable. So what we're going to try and do is lift this up slightly and also give her some sculpting. I really want her to have some definition on her face so she can look, feel more rested and look more enhanced. The key really is obviously not overdoing things, is just enhancing. So what we're doing in our first injection is we're going right to the apple of the cheek and giving a little bit of a lift. You can see that projection, even that very small amount. And being really gentle and slow. I do my little vibration to help reduce pain. And again, just a little bit injected. And this is a Dermal Ultra Plus because it is a nice lifting capacity. And that overall enhances, just that alone right there, gives some enhancement to the cheekbone and the overall lifting in the fold. And interestingly, it usually takes, I always tell people, about a syringe aside to really appreciate the lifting. Some definition can be obtained without that. We're going to do just a subtle bit into that trough area. Some people call this mid-facial fat pad. So that right there, that little contour gives a little bit of lift. We haven't addressed the crease yet, just the lifting around the mid-face. So now we're going to move to the opposite side. Was that really terrible in pain?
No.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure. Very minimal bleeding, if any, at all, which is great. And we're just going to balance that. If you see the one side versus the other, it's not as lifted. And now you can see also that crease is a little bit improved. In that same area, we're going to go right down and try and just get a little bit of lift. What I like about with Ultra Plus, this is going back to the basics. This filler holds a little bit of water. And the reason this could be good, turn this way, on bone, on lateral face, temple, jawline, chin, is because that's where you do want to get lifting and contouring. Where this is not good would be directly under the eye in too high of an amount, because you might get swelling, which is what we're limiting. We're trying to not do in this case. And so here again, just softening, smile again. Okay. I want to get this to lift a little bit, so I'm grabbing the cheek right down. She's doing great. Nice and slow. Good. So again, just a light massage. Very soft touch there, stop any bleeding. Slower you go, the better. That gives us some definition now in that area. And now we're going to move to the area around the mouth. That already looks better. Looks really good, actually.
So what would you recommend for something around the eyes?
Well, we're going to get there. So what we're going to do is now we're going to move to around the mouth, and we're just going to do just a subtle bit to the folds, even though, like I said, our goal right now with the majority of facial shaping is to lift and to contour. Sometimes we want to do a little bit of line filling just to get a subtle change, and I'll show you guys in a second. Just doing great. I'm doing my little vibration to help reduce any pain. And remember, these fillers are made of a hyaluronic acid, so there's just natural sugar. I like to go slow. You see the one side versus the other, it's already improved. Smile for me so we can see her movement. Do a little bit more lifting. And then a little bit onto the corner of the mouth. Try and raise this area up slightly. And the other thing around the mouth that's important is to give support at least to the lower part of the chin, because this area will support not only the lip, but also the mouth creases themselves. So now we're going to move to the opposite side, which is doing really well.
And these are not silicone fillers, are they?
Oh no, these are hyaluronic acid-based fillers. This is Juvederm, FDA approved.
And are they permanent?
No, these will last for about 9 to 12 months. We don't typically use many permanent fillers for facial shaping. There is one filler in the United States that's FDA approved for very long term called Bellafill, which is used for acne scars. Smile again. Okay, relax. Doing very small.
Is there any bruising after this?
There can be using needle injections, but what we're trying to do is go really slow. The slower you go, the little bit less chance of major bruising. I'm gonna use a cannula injection for her under her eyes in a minute, sorry guys, which will limit any of that bruising. Smile again as much as you can. I'm gonna do one needle poke around this area of her chin because that will help the marionette area. You see how I'm pinching? If you pinch like this, you can see where the volume deficiency is. And that pinching allows me to really identify, see here I'm pinching under her corner, and you see how that indents right there. So that's where we want to go by adding a little bit of the filler right into that volume deficiency area. Pinching right here, that's very good. Just to give her a little bit more shaping right there. So now we're going to go back to the opposite side. And you can see now, comparing here to here, that it's way more blended because we did that pinch and it softened the marionette, which is the lip corner crease.
And did you numb?
Yeah, she topically numbed and she's a super strong woman, so she's doing great despite all these injections. But now you can see how much more soft her folds are, you guys, because we built out this lower portion here and gave support to the chin, which we're going to do around the chin and around the mouth. Come to the opposite side and finish up.
How can someone get in contact with you for this treatment?
Well, they can go to jasonmrmd.com. They can call our office, which is on our Instagram or YouTube. And come anytime. But all of this needs to be individualized, guys. We had a discussion, a long discussion of what's going to make her look great. So, I mean, that looks amazing even right there. Now we're going to soften the fine lines around the mouth and do a little to the under eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the folds on a different layer with Bellatero, which is a softer filler. This is the only superficial dermal filler in the United States. Actually, in other countries, they have Restylane skin boosters and Juvederm Volite. We don't have that because our FDA is very picky, but we do have Bellatero, which can be used in all these fine areas right here to soften around her mouth and give her some lifting. But again, fillers don't lift. This one actually helps do more fine lines. So it softens this chin crease, it's going to soften around her mouth, it's going to make it just look more soft so she doesn't look like anything's starting to sag, which is great. The other thing I like about it is it doesn't get lumpy, bumpy, or puffy. If you inject other fillers in these areas, you will get that. So again, remember when I grab, I told you guys that's where we can see the volume deficiency. So we're pinching right here, and I can see the volume deficiency. So we're going to fill those areas with pinching and filling, just lightly. do so much. This will be a better improvement for her.
How long will this redness last?
Just a few minutes. We're going to put her under a red light afterwards, decrease all the swelling, and soften any inflammation. But all that's going to go down, and then the last part, my opinion, the most technical, the most important is the under eye area. Smile for me. Smile. Okay. You can see she has a little bit of a crease there, a little bit of puffiness. So what we're going to do, we're going to go very lightly with a cannula. This is a 27 gauge long cannula. And we're going to go under the skin. Do you feel a lot of pain here or no?
No, okay.
Good. And we're just going to do a little. You don't want to overdo this for her. The majority of what we wanted to do was to do anatomical lifting and shaping. Going to, long term we talked about her getting skin tightening and doing other laser treatments, but in the meantime, we're going to work to do a little bit of shaping by using the cannula here. We're going to not forget, as we age, this lateral portion of the eye also loses a little bit of volume. So we're going to go all the way back here. You can see right up at the corner of the eye, giving a little bit of volume as well.
And can you use any of these fillers for acne scars?
The Juvederm can sometimes be. It's actually not as good. Personally, the best one is Bellafill because it's FDA approved and it's long lasting. Smile again. Good, relax. Good. And again, with her eye shape, we have to be really cautious about how much filler we use there. Bellatero can be used for acne scars, the one I'm using right here, but it's very soft and it doesn't last a long time. You can see where I am with the cannula, all the way up into that tear trough. And it's really not that painful. Do you feel a lot of pain or no?
No, I don't feel that.
Good. Turn to the left a little bit with your head. Left, left.
Oh, sorry.
Everyone seems to do that. I don't know why. It's just a natural response. It's okay. Other left, yeah, exactly. And again, we're going through the entire lower orbital rim on the bone and on the fat pads here. And going all the way up even to the crease right here. You can see where I am with my cannula, right up to that area, because that's when people start to lose a little bit of volume. You see right in here. And we're all the way up into that area. It feels weird, but it's safe. And then we're just blending right now. Trying to blend her under eye so we get a nice improvement that's natural. Again, all the way up, you can see the trough here. Good. And we just soften, soften, soften. So let me at least show her, even with the redness and inflammation. We'll wipe her off. We'll wipe her off real quick. And then we'll show her what at least we've done in this short time. And then I always tell people it takes 2 weeks for fillers to fully show, about 2 to 3, sometimes even a little longer in some people that are sensitive. But let's show her with this. Okay, take a look, show you what we've done. So a little bit of lifting laterally, a little bit of support here. You have this line naturally that's here that we will improve when we tighten the skin a little bit. We did some filler here and here, and then if you look up and turn this way a little bit, this area will start to soften and lift this together. This area will come up a little bit, and now we have contour there. So I think in the next couple weeks, when it all settles and you don't look like it's red, I think it's going to look great. But we don't really see any bruising, so cross my fingers. I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah.
How was the overall experience? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Great. Well, I can't wait to see the outcome. A few weeks, you guys will see. Now I'm going to do Yeah, that's gonna look good. It's gonna look really good. The thing about